What's up, everybody? It's Braxton, here to show you a quick tip on changing your tires on your bandsaw. Now, urethane tires are a great upgrade to any bandsaw, but they can be really difficult to get on. They're super hard to stretch out, and most of the time, when you try to get them on there, it sure doesn't look like they're going to fit. So I'm going to show you how I like to get them on there, and hopefully it'll help some people. Make sure your saw is unplugged before you do any work to it. After the saw is unplugged and the old tires are removed, I like to inspect the wheel for any wear or debris. In order to make the urethane more pliable, I use my heat gun. I lay it out on the top and slowly work my way around and warm up the urethane as evenly as possible. This took about 3 minutes to get it nice and pliable so it would stretch on the wheel. Once that urethane is warmed up, it makes it much easier to get the tire on the wheel. All I had to do was get it started at the top and then work my way around, stretching it as I went, and I got it to pop on the bottom, no problem. If you end up with any high spots in the tire, it's nothing to worry about. Using your fingers, just work the edge of the urethane into the groove that runs on the inside of that wheel. You'll also want to check the backside and make sure there's nothing back there. Just run your fingers around, and if you feel a high spot, kind of work it in and make sure everything's sitting nice and flush all the way around. After you install the tires, you're going to have to put a blade back on. So I might as well show you how I like to set my saw up to get it cutting nice and straight. I start by removing the table, and then I like to clean the bearings. I use a little steel brush and some acetone to scrub all the sawdust and sap and whatever else kind of crud accumulates on there when you're cutting. After the bearings are clean, the next thing I'll do is loosen them all up. Make sure everything is fully open and wide so you can get ready to put that new blade in there and then get them all adjusted down properly. If your blade broke like mine did, you're going to want to make sure you release the tension off that top wheel before you put a new one on. I start by getting the blade over the top wheel first, then get it inside the blade guard, and then put it on the lower wheel. It's always a nice idea to make sure it's going in the right direction too. Not that I've ever put a blade on backwards or anything. Once you've got the blade on, you can start to put some tension on it. I have a big tension release lever on the back of my saw, so I'll pull that down, check to see where the blade is, make some fine-tune adjustments with the knob on the top, and then check it again with the big lever. What you're looking for is just a slight movement on the blade when you tap the side of it. After I get the blade tensioned, I check and make sure that the deepest part of the gullet is riding right in the center of the wheel. The next step is to adjust the guide bearings. I start with the rear ones first and bring them in until they're as absolutely close to the back of the blade as possible without touching it. You want those bearings so close that just the lightest touch from the back of your hand to get that blade moving will cause it to come in contact with the bearings. Next, I set up my side guide bearings. These you want about a 1/16 of an inch behind the deepest part of the gullet. Adjust those bearings in towards the blade so that they're as close as possible without actually touching, just like that rear bearing. As you can see, the blade's spinning freely here. None of those bearings are moving until I put just the slightest amount of pressure one side or the other. After you've got the bearings adjusted top and bottom, make sure you get everything snugged down. The last thing you'll need to do will be install the table. Make sure everything is all snugged down tightly. Plug it back in, and fire up the saw. Well, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is how I like to put on urethane bandsaw tires. I use a heat gun for my method, but if you don't have a heat gun and you're still looking for an easy way to do it, my buddy Patrick over at Patrick's Workshop put out a video on how he does it. Now his method is totally different from mine, but the results are awesome. Head over to Patrick's channel, check out that video as well as all his other awesome videos. And if you're not already subscribed to him, I'd highly recommend it. He's got awesome content. And speaking of subscriptions and awesome content, I would love to have you as a subscriber if you're not already. So please consider subscribing to my channel, keep up to date on what I'm doing. And also, check me out on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. I'm always posting stuff all over the place. I'll have links in the description below to Patrick's channel as well as all my social medias. So thank you very much for watching again, and we'll see you guys next time.